You know how the false prophet said, have you ever been swallowed?
Man, Mr. Take That. Shout out to Pastor Gino, Reverend Gino Jennings. Anyways, here we have Diddy's legal team coming out, and they're trying to present their client, Diddy's lawyers, they're trying to present their client, Diddy, aka Puffy. They're trying to present him in a different type of light. So right here it says Diddy's legal team says the freak offs. Sorry, let me say that again. Diddy's legal team says freak off videos show fully consenting adults in letter to the court. Now, I want to read from the description real quick. It says Diddy's legal team is starting the year off with claims that several videos at the center of his federal racketeering and sex trafficking indictment show fully consenting adults engaged in freak offs, quote unquote. Now, I don't know if you remember the R. Kelly videos I did in 2022. And I was trying to tell you, this is a terrible precedent that they're setting when they just put on. That was the first time I ever heard really of a R&B star get sex trafficking and racketeering charges put on it. I'm like, what? I was like trafficking who? Racketeering. I'm like, what are we talking about? R. Kelly. But that was the only way to entrap them, by putting a bogus charge like that on him. And people didn't understand. I'm like, if those charges stick, we're beat. The average dude is beat. And most dudes in the industry, if they rolling around, like, because, a lot of people in the industry, celebrities, they like to, walking around with their harem of 304s and all that stuff. If you like to roll like that, you can get racketeering and sex trafficking charges being put on you if you just like to roll around with hoes everywhere. But I warn people about that, and other some people would touch on that, but not many. Like Corey Holcomb would touch on that, but not many. I'll say, I don't even think, nobody in the space really had really touched on, like, yo, charges like that? Are you kidding me? But anyways. It says, per Rolling Stone, Diddy's attorneys claim the videos confirm his innocence and must be turned over to his defense for an independent analysis. So they're basically going to be watching prawn and studying and analyzing the prawn. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. They said, in a letter to the court filed Tuesday, the mogul's lawyers disclosed that 9 freak-off videos were previously handed over to prosecutors by victim 1, Cassandra, aka Cassie Ventura. And if anybody that doesn't know, Cassie was the first one that started putting these allegations on her ex. So she was the person that started all this stuff up, claiming that she was a victim to him and all that stuff. And everybody was claiming that she was a victim. But watch this here. He said his legal team claims 6 videos unambiguously depict consensual sexual encounters where victim 1, aka Cassie, is not only consenting, she is evidently happy, dominant, and completely in control. Now, I suspected this because really most of Diddy's victims have been really men for the most part. The only female victims I feel that were of Diddy long term was like Kim Porter. You know what I mean? She seems to be, in terms of meaning abusive, when it comes to abuse. You know what I mean? I think Cassie was a full-blown participant. And not only that, she's kind of a poor woman's Ghislaine Maxwell, in my opinion, to Diddy's Epstein, right? So that's my opinion on that. I don't look at, Cassie and Ghislaine, they're of similar ilk, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But, that was just me, but it's interesting now. The videos, the prawn evidence, basically, the SEX tapes evidence is gonna show that. Now, I don't trust how the videos are just gonna be in control of whatever department, because that means these videos are gonna leak. They're gonna be selling copies to the dark web. They're gonna be selling copies. I'm talking about on the low to worlds. They're gonna be like, I don't know how this stuff leaked. Anyways, let's continue reading. It says the videos are currently under a protective order, and Diddy's attorneys claim they have only been able to review the footage in person while monitored by law enforcement. In addition, they argue that complete Unabridged electronic copies are necessary so they can retain their own experts to exploit the video's full exculpatory value. I don't know what that word is. Exculpatory. Oh, I don't even know what that is. Anyways, ahead of trial. Also, they claim videos constitute the heart of Combs' defense, and considering they're not highly classified material or child porn, reports state Combs has a constitutional right to review their undisclosed audio portions and metadata to build a meaningful defense. This is funny to me, man. Educated Tyrone was just talking about this on my live stream the other day. Yesterday, to be precise, but I don't know when you guys are going to watch this video. He basically said, like, imagine you do all this this police work just for you to just throw all that to the side, and then if you're part of the feds, you end up basically having to analyze a Freaky Ninja's prawn collection with consenting celebrities, and you got to determine via the prawn evidence who's the victim, who's not the victim, who's guilty, who's not guilty. But I'll say this: if Diddy gets released because of these video evidence, and basically the jury or whoever the case, the people presiding over the case, and if they cite a reason of Diddy's release is because of the videos, that will set a interesting precedent, in America, where now you're gonna definitely have dudes filming all their encounters with broads. I'm talking about all their encounters. So just in case, because this whole stuff about her word against my word, it makes things complicated in courts. So it'll be interesting if Diddy gets released off those premises. And Cassie, though, that the thing about Cassie, I don't look at her as a victim. Like that's just me. And look, man, I could be wrong, but I don't really see her as a victim. I don't really see her as a victim. So they're showing the quotes that I already showed you right here. So let's look at some of these comments. And let's judge the comment section real quick. Okay. They said fully consenting drugged adults. Well, that is true, but the one I'm talking about, the ones that were drugged, in my opinion, it looks like the victims, it seems like it was the unassuming male celebrities that had their trust in Diddy, and Diddy had videotape of them doing, being taken advantage. And I think it happened to mostly to the men, in my opinion, because a lot of the women that have came out against Diddy, or most of them, they're just looking for a payday. The dudes have been eerily silent, or they've just acted like, oh, I didn't see nothing at Diddy's parties. And really, a lot of those guys were the victims. Somebody said, what influenced the consent is the real issue. No, I'll say this, because if they have videotaped orgies where everybody's kind of down with it, I do believe Diddy does have evidence of that. Because I don't think, even though Diddy is a monster in the industry, he is a villain. You know what I mean? He deserves everything that's coming to him, no doubt. But I don't think, I'm not going to be up here and saying that he was like that. All the freak offs that were organized weren't non-consensual. I believe these were just, freak offs. First of all, freak offs is not just an industry thing, man. Freak offs be happening at your local Wendy's and McDonald's. You know what I mean? These places where work is conducted. Look at what's happening with FS1, with Joy Taylor, what they're trying to sweep under the rug. This is common. This stuff happens everywhere. Shout out to Corey Oakham. He'll talk about stuff like this, but people act like he's just being, extreme. But even at regular jobs, you be having freak offs, or like these jobs where, they'll be having work trips. These are the things that be happening. So right here, you go Tata the nurse _Dyer. She says, in ORGY is not a crime. I wish they stopped talking about this. Speak on a real crime, not the fact that someone is a freak and likes to partake in wild behavior. I get what she's saying, but I believe with Diddy, there were cases where, yeah, he did have organized freak offs, but then I also believe that he was drugging men, and maybe with some women too. But I think seems like his appetite was to take advantage of vulnerable men. That's my opinion on that. I don't even think he really got off on his abuse towards women. You know what I mean? I think that was just, if that came to blows, it's just because he's a piece of S, it didn't even really matter to him. But I believe that he targeted many men and tried to dominate those guys sexually. just because he's that power hungry. He's just that sadistic. In my opinion, that's what I think Diddy is. He's just, he's just wired differently up in his brain in a really bad way, Olala 421 says if he's in jail for trafficking, then show us that. But if it's for freak parties, he should be released. That's what I'm saying. So like if all they have to show for it is the freak offs, and then now they're saying because of the freak offs, that's why he's being held. If he has videotape of allegedly, consenting adults, that might release him. You know, it's he said somebody said those tapes are about to be everywhere. Exactly. They're gonna make it's gonna be the tapes are gonna be accidentally quote unquote leaked. Talking about we can only keep these copies right here, and we need extra analysis. Come on, man. All you need to see it is once or twice to just one time to just be shocked, and then the second time to really be like, okay, make sure we have in account everybody that's in these videotapes. It don't. Oh, we need to study this for further analysis, like it's some DNA sample, like some Ben 10 alien force, different type of alien DNA structure that you got to study for 5 days. Come on, man. They're gonna quote unquote leak the video. we already know the playbook with that one.